Car Wizard, I thought you said you don't work on BMWs. You're out here lying to us. We do now. Let's get started. This is a 2014 BMW 328D. It's a diesel. And another very interesting fact is it's creeping up on 173,000 miles on this BMW. That's unheard of to me. I didn't even know they can go that high on a BMW. Like, what? Mainly a newer one, guys. I'm not talking about the older ones. They could. But amazingly, this thing has tons of miles and it's still going strong. Unfortunately, in the southern New Mexico area, there's no car ninja. There's no Johnny from German Motor Works. So where do I send these? I can't send them 800 miles away, number one. And number two, Johnny refuses all cars out of state. If you call him from outside of Kansas, he'll tell you to get lost. So, Car Ninja is no longer on the radar. I guess I'm going to have to start fixing BMWs, Mrs. Wizard.
I guess so, but this one's an exception to the rule, even to your exception to the rule.
How's that?
That's diesel.
Yes, we do not work on diesels. We don't have all the tooling to tear diesels apart. Luckily, the work that needs to be done to this has nothing to do with the engine. It just needs some suspension work. Let's take a look around this very high mile 328D, and it looks very clean for its high miles. Very nice. And as I mentioned, we don't work on diesels. We will work on the car. We just don't tear apart the diesel engine itself. We don't dive into that. It takes tons of special tools. You can see the paint is very nice. When you come around to the back, it is the 328D. It's a little dusty. That's normal for around here. Black wheels, black interior, black exterior, triple black. Let's go ahead and hop under the hood. Here is our 2-liter inline 4-cylinder diesel. You can clearly see it says twin power turbo. That's not a gas engine. That is a diesel engine. You can see it's got a lot of room to work on it all around it. I guess if I had to have a newer diesel, I would have one that's small like this so you can get to all the emission stuff that's going to fail. You know it's going to fail. You guys already know that. Otherwise, it's going to be like a BMW to maintain and repair. It's not going to be better or worse, but I am amazed by its really high miles. This engine has about 180 horsepower, but what it has that other engines this small doesn't have is almost 300 pounds of torque, right around a little over 280. That's a lot of torque from a 2-liter 4-cylinder. And over 40 miles per gallon on the highway and around 30 to 35 around town. That's really good. I guess if I had to have a BMW, maybe I should get a diesel, Mrs. Wizard.
Just maybe.
Especially with that many miles. Let's see what the miles have done to the interior, though. Take it away, Mrs. Wizard.
There you have it, 172,986 miles, and whoa, that is quite a few on this Bimmer, but it's looking good, liking the red. You see a little bit more red as we go around. Dash looking good, liking the infotainment screen up there, nice and high, easy to read, nice map. Here's some more of that red that we see, that nice trim piece that goes around, gets us some steel accents as well. Nice row of buttons, followed by our nice HVAC control. So, okay, looking good. As we move back, here's our gear selector, our selector for all of our controls on that screen, e-brake, and our armrest. As we get to the seats, yes, that is some nice bolster on the side, and they are kind of stiff. They are stiff leather, an adjustable headrest, more of that red stitching, and we've got red stitching accent on that door card. One thing I can say about this Bimmer is that the back seat looks nice. Look at that legroom, real legroom that you can actually sit in and not be jamming the back of your driver or your passenger in the front seat. Headliner looking good. So here we are back at the steering wheel. Got a little bit of wear here on some of the buttons, and that is about it. Not a lot going on. The steering wheel is looking good. If anything, maybe just a little smooth up there. But with 172,000 miles on here, it's looking really nice. Let's get this up in the air and see what kind of suspension issues it's having.
So even though we don't do a whole lot of diesel work for people, we still can inspect them and let them know what we find. And this one has a large belly pan, kind of a felt, kind of a fabric. I don't see any wet with oil or anything. And the main thing the customer was concerned about was their suspension and their brakes. So I don't see anything leaking right here in the area where the radiator should be. or where the engine area is. There is a little tiny cover we can take a look in though. So I suppose for oil changes, there's this tiny little door right here. You can see just on the bottom of the oil pan, there's our drain bolt right there for the engine. And it's completely dry all around it. I don't see any serious issues, so we're going to go ahead and put this cover back on. Main thing I was looking for is if it's completely soaked in oil down here, and it is not. And if there was a large oil leak, it would be spraying all down the transmission and blowing all over the place, which is completely dry back here as well. I can tell that this guy has been maintaining this car to a very high level. And another way I can tell that he definitely takes care of this car is when we gave him the quote for all the work, there was no hassle. He said, do it all. So we're going to be taking care of some issues. There's no leaks, nothing going on. The engine runs great. Let's take a look at the front suspension though. So here we are at the front suspension. We can see right away the miles have taken the toll on the struts. There is literally oil pouring out of them. It's collecting dirt. So these struts up front are blown, and these are not electronic controlled. They don't have any kind of wiring going to them. And they're also, we looked up the part number, they're not sport suspension either. They're just plain old struts. We'll be putting some new Bilsteins on. Another thing I notice, you guys wonder how I can tell how the brake pads are certain thicknesses. Normally the brake pad should be right below this line, but look how far it's sunk in. I mean, it's almost to the rotor, almost down to metal. So it's definitely time for new pads. We'll resurface the rotors. They're very thick, so we don't need to replace the rotors. We have a wonderful brake lathe that Benpack supplied to us from Ranger Products. I've had that one for a few years, and it works very well. I've turned a lot of rotors on that machine. We'll check the sway bar link here, which is good, and now we'll go to the other side. This one is just starting to leak. You can see up here up top where I'm shining. It's wet. There's oil starting to seep out of the spring cup. So this shock has just blown as well. And our pads are very, very thin. You can see that they're sunken down pretty deeply. And we'll check our sway bar link. That's good. So we already know front struts, front brakes, and resurface the rotors. Let's continue our inspection. Here's our exhaust going back. Nothing's been modified or hacked, and it's lasted quite a long time, but I don't know if he's had to have any emissions work done. Here's our rear differential. Nothing's leaking, amazingly. We'll check the CV boots in the back. They're both good. Our brakes in the back, they are getting kind of thin as well. They're probably 50% remaining. There's still some life left on those, but the customer stated they just want to go ahead and get them all done. Check out these shocks in the back. They're not struts, because you can see the spring right there. And the spring is separate from the shock absorber. The spring is not included with the shock, so it's just a shock. And how long do those have left? So if they're original, we have no idea how long those are going to last. Another week, another month, another year. The customer said, I want it all done. I don't want to mess with this. I want my car to last as long as possible. So let's check the other side before we get this thing on the ground. The shock is not blown over here, but the pads are about 50% remaining. Same story over here on this wheel. It's kind of hard to see, but I'll check the sway bar link on both sides. That one's good. And that one's good. So not much else going on here, just a muffler and one single exhaust out the back. Pretty simple to work on this one. It's not crammed with crap, so not too bad at all. Let's check the date codes on those tires. So right up here we can see it's the 39th week of 2022. They're about 4 years old. They still got a lot of life left in them. So the tires are good. Let's get this on the ground. Yes, we're going to be working on BMWs here. Not only is Car Ninja nowhere to be found in the area, unfortunately, and somebody has to fix these. And here's the thing I've found about the Las Cruces area. Multiple people who have Fiats, Mercedes, Jaguars, all these European cars, they really don't have anywhere to take them. They have to go all the way to El Paso, and even that's a crapshoot. Sometimes they have to go to Phoenix or Tucson to get good quality European car repairs. And in the Las Cruces community here, they will tell you two words at every shop you go to. If you say the word Jaguar or BMW, they say, hell no. I actually had a customer tell me that the owner of the shop said, did you see that little driveway entrance you came back in? He goes, yeah. He goes, go back out on that. No, I don't even want that on my property. I don't know why the attitude is for that. They just don't even want to see them on their property. We are happy to work on them here. And yes, like I just mentioned 3 times already, we will be starting to take BMWs back into the shop. That's why the flag is up, because I knew I'm probably going to have to start working on BMWs down here. Somebody has to fix them. And we'd like to be that shop to provide that service for everyone. So what is this all going to cost? $2,000 to $3,000 range. The parts on these BMWs are not 20 and 30 bucks. They're 200 and 500 and 700. When you start adding up all these pieces and parts and the labor, it adds up really fast. We did inform the customer of that. He said, do it all. And the back brakes, I mentioned that has 50% remaining. You could easily say he's got quite a while left. He can come back another day and get that fixed. So this customer said, I don't want to come back another day. The car's in the shop right now. I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone and not even have to think about my brakes for a long time. So, we're happy to oblige. All new struts are ordered, new brakes, and we'll be resurfacing those rotors on our handy dandy Ranger brake lathe. Which reminds me, let's head on over to the brake lathe. So what's the determining factor of whether your rotors get resurfaced or not? On a small American car, a Chevy or a Dodge or something, you can get some rotors for some of those cars for 20 and 30 bucks. Why would you spend 15 to get them resurfaced? You can get a whole new rotor for just a tiny bit more. There are 2 places or 2 reasons why we would not use this machine. Number 1, like I just mentioned, you can go get the whole rotor for cheaper. And number 2, some of the drilled and slotted rotors that have all the grooves, they can actually damage the cutting tip on this machine. Let me show you the tip. So you can see these little carbide cutting tips right here. This is actually what does the cutting on the rotor as it spins through this slot right here and cuts the metal. So the reason why you can't do that with the drilled slotted rotors is as those drilled or slotted surfaces go past the cutting tip, it sounds like a hammer. It's like pop, 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 and it actually can just chip and break the insert. I've known people that tried to do it and they've gone through 4 sets of inserts by the time the rotor's done. It's just not worth it. And I don't want to damage a $500 BMW rotor, so there'll be time to get a new rotor. However, if the rotors are pretty expensive, just like they are on this BMW, but they're not drilled and not slotted, and they're thick enough to resurface, you can save a ton of money. 15 bucks a rotor as opposed to $100 or $200 or $300, $400 a rotor, and get a lot of life out of it. When they get too thin, it can get so thin that the pistons of the caliper can actually push out, and it could be dangerous. There's actually a service limit usually stamped on the rotors, like in this picture here. It'll give you the minimum thickness. You cannot go thinner than that. These rotors on this BMW are way above the minimum thickness, so we're definitely going to be resurfacing for this customer.
So, Wizard, how many times can you resurface a rotor then?
Easily 2 or 3 times, maybe more, depends on how thick the factory rotors are, but probably 2 or 3 times at least before you start getting a little too thin. I do remember as a kid having a car and needing some rotors resurfaced. Obviously I didn't have access to a shop or a machine like we do here, but I would take them to our local parts store and they would usually resurface them for us. Not all parts stores do it, but if you need it done, check with your local parts store. They might be able to hook you up with that. But we're very happy this customer decided to bring us their 328D, their diesel with lots of miles to get serviced here. It's the first BMW I've had in my shop in quite a long time. We are happy to start servicing them again. They're not my favorite car, like I've mentioned in the past, but like I mentioned, somebody has to do it, so we'll help them out. The reason why I don't like them so much is that they don't tolerate neglect at all. They really go downhill really, really fast when they're neglected. This customer is the ideal BMW owner. They keep it at top level at all times, and it shows. It lasted a long time. There's a lot of 3 Series out there with 100,000 miles that gets turned down to the second or third owner, and it's just like a snowball effect, guys. It just goes downhill really fast. Then they bring it to the shop and say, I need 17 things fixed. There's an oil leak, this is rattling, I got a check engine light, this and that. And it gets $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. And then I frequently hear, well, I didn't pay that much for the whole car. That is the bane of working on BMWs, unfortunately. But if we keep having customers like this one, yes, I would be happy to work on BMWs. If you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to work on this 328D or any other car in the shop, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. A lot of the tools we use every day in the shop, tried and true, are listed for sale there. If you purchase anything, we get a small cut and we really appreciate it. And just like you've seen when we moved to Las Cruces, no, we're not closing our YouTube channel. No, we're not closing our business, obviously. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because there's many more videos to come. Thanks for watching.